Good morning, everyone. I've certainly learned this morning why I never made it as a PhD. I feel quite fortunate that I made Mister, actually, and I think that might be my limit. I'm definitely not going to confuse you as much, or educate you as much. Just quickly, I'm going to do most of the introduction to the other people and give you an overview of CMYUK as a business. I don't want to go into the business side of it too much because we want to keep it more focused on the technology and the products and the market, because I know you're here to hear about those things and not have a big company pitch. So just quickly, I'll talk about the people that are joining us. We've got Paolo, who is from one of our key supplying partners from EFI, from Reggiani. So he's from the main textile part within the EFI business. Has huge experience and will give you some insight into where EFI positioned across all the market sectors within textiles. I mean, today we're talking about soft signage to interior decor. We're certainly not here to talk to you about clothing and all those other aspects that you get within textile. We're within our niche. And following that, what have we done there? We'll just turn it off. Go back. Joel's going to follow that with talking about some of the applications that we do. And you can see with our stall over there, we've got many different materials, and we'll certainly give you some sort of case studies and examples of how we've seen the market grow and evolve into different applications really that people are using within a wide range, from retail and into decor and design, from corporate decor, event graphics, hotel, you name it. And then Michael's going to finish off at the back end of the presentation and talk to you about where he sees the future of textiles going within our market. And of course, many of the market opportunities that have evolved for us, and if we look back, going back 15 years ago when we were with UV technology and people were talking about soft signage for us. Many of our customers, it's interesting talking to Paul or listening to Paul earlier, where lots of customers come from different areas, and our customers were traditional digital printers. They were probably printing 5 different kinds of products, and now their markets have really expanded because they've seen the opportunities that are evolving. And a lot of that is coming from, of course, the technology within the printing machines and the widening portfolio of materials that create the new applications. So just a quick, probably 5 minutes on CMYUK. One of the longest established in our market, independent suppliers of digital printing equipment and cutting equipment. So if you look at the portfolio that we have across hardware and consumables, the key ones on hardware, we have EFI with industrial through to mid-range solutions on UV and dye sublimation, Mimaki on mid-range commercial UV and textile, ESCO with commercial and industrial digital cutting solutions, HP with latex, and more recently we have 3D technology, very large 3D technology, which is something that we're mixing together with 2D structures. On the materials side, we're probably best known within textiles for Berger. We've been distributing their products for 6 years now. Polyester textiles, and more recently with Pongs. And the guys will talk to you more about that as they go through the presentation. We have our head office is actually down in Reading, where we have our warehousing facility for materials, which are sent out. That's our hub down there. And in Shrewsbury, I just wanted to touch on our demonstration and training centre that we have here. And you can see a whole raft of technology within one building. What's lovely about this for any one of you, you're very welcome to come and visit us, is we have a complete blend really of all the latest technologies. You tend to find, of course, that most of our customers don't have just one technology. They have lots of different technologies, depending on the number of applications that they're able to offer. But it's a great place to, one, come and evaluate equipment and see where things are positioned and where they fit you as a business. We'll welcome anyone with no experience right through to the multinationals that are just adding or refreshing on technology. But you can road test equipment, you can bring materials with you, you can try our materials, and you can learn about all the different techniques and tips and tricks, as Paul said, within the business to move forward. So by all means, if you do want to come and see and spend a day or half a day and just learn on some of the latest technology, then by all means make contact with us. You can see inside the technology, into the facility there, there's a few snapshots there with digital cutting equipment. We have 3 ESCO tables. We pretty much do the UK demonstrations for all of ESCO now, including all their packaging customers. They don't cart them all the way over to Belgium in Ghent anymore. They use our facility. And there's 2 other areas that I wanted to talk about briefly here. One is our technology wall. One of the things that we're very big on at the moment, actually, and again I'll pick up on what Paul said, is the big focus actually tends to be on areas like finishing and pre-press. In some respects, we always say that the printing part is almost the easy bit. Once you're set up and you're established and you've learned and got the right technology for your applications, if you press go, it will go. The difficulty comes afterwards with finishing and installations and all those aspects. But before that, of course, there's pre-press, and actually a big buzzword at the moment is automation, de-skilling, how to make your presses run efficiently and increase your uptime within your production facility. So we have a lot of tools and software applications within here that can enhance that to maximise your efficiency. A great example actually is one of our biggest customers is Photobox, and they do about 65% of their turnover 3 weeks before Christmas. Imagine that. And to do that, they take on nearly 700 agency workers that have probably never touched anything to do with printing. So the whole key to this, failure is not an option. If you've got 65% of your business 3 weeks before Christmas, you can't have downtime. So the whole, if you look at the whole process to enable the viability of that as a business, is de-skilling and removing all the administrative tasks. Pretty much when they do 20,000 canvases a day, going up to that Christmas period, from the moment somebody takes an image on their smartphone, which ultimately goes onto their website and is fulfilled as an order, nobody touches the file right the way through to the finished article. So in all manufacturing and production now, whether you're in textile or canvas or UV or whatever, this is the key area to really focus on to maximise your overall productivity. And again, if anybody was interested in that, then please make contact with us. On the materials side, we have our application wall. We have our binders here, so anyone that's wandering around afterwards can have a look and look at the different materials that we have split by application. So we have a decor and design section, we have a speciality section, and we're constantly, as materials are evolving and being launched and invented, we're building on those materials. We're always testing them on the current and popular manufacturers' equipment, and then creating videos of how to install, how to fit, how to position the product, data sheets so that you can take to your customers for fire ratings, etc., etc., etc. So that again is a really worthwhile visit to come and actually see that and gain some educational time on the materials side. And actually, materials being such a big part of our business and a big part of your business as you widen your services to your customers, became almost like a mini industry in our own right. We created a production environment to make our own binders, because to actually really showcase the materials at their best and their widest, you need to print on more than one technology. So you need to see the versatility of it. And so we produce everything in-house. We have an area where we weight them, drill them. At any one time, we might produce up to 80, 100,000 A4s across 75 different materials and create these books. And these books are then available for you to take to your customers. So hopefully that can act as a really good sales tool so that you can showcase some of the applications that you can offer to them. And we've proved them, so hopefully that's helpful. So there you go, just a quick slide there on they're our key manufacturing partners for textiles. So just to consolidate that really, EFI, Maki, HP with latex, Cleaverick for our calendaring process, and ESCO for our digital finishing. And on that note, I'm going to pass you over to Paolo, who's going to give you a better insight into the positioning of dye sublimation.
Thank you. Thanks everybody, and thanks for the introduction. I'm Paolo Torricella. I'm a worldwide textile segment specialist for EFI Reggiani, which is an American company, $1 billion company, which is investing every year 16% of the turnover in research and development. So it means that we have fresh cash to dedicate ourselves to new application, a new area of improvement. So I'm there since 2004, it's now 14 years. I studied as an IT engineer, fixing computers, because I have a computer and industrial electronics degree. And I moved a few years later in the hardware part. So I was installing textile machine, rotary, flatbed, a few digital at the time, on the field. When textile was not, industrial textile for digital was not 100% mature yet. So the technology was limited to 6 color, fixed drop size. So we're talking about 35 picoliters, so nearly a shower. Nowadays we are close to 3-4 picoliter, 8 up to 12 colors, and a machine that can produce from 1 meters a minute up to 12-15 linear meters a minute. So the forthcoming technology is single pass, as everyone knows, which is close to 100 and 120 linear meters per hour, so even faster than conventional printers. So in 2007, we saw the steering of the technology towards variable drop size. At the time, we had a cooperation with Signage, which became HP. So we had to develop our own technology starting from zero. So we developed our electronic, our ink system, our software, and we didn't have a printing head which was fitting the future application. So I visited a couple of trade shows. It was 2007, there was a Drupa in Germany, and I saw a beautiful printing head which was 4 inches and a quarter. I said, oh wow, that might fit our needs, our speed. So at that time, this company was called Brother, and they were manufacturing those printing heads to print on heads. So I contacted them, say, hey, can we have 4 printing heads so we can play with 4 basic colors and see what we can pull out from this technology? They didn't have a lot of experience in textile, so they passed me towards the company that acquired the brands, which was Kyocera. So we started with Kyocera. The first version of the printing head was not compatible with the reactive inks, which at that time was our main technology in the printing business. So we had to go through a learning curve, and today we are the market leader in industrial with nearly 1,000 printers installed all over the world for many applications. And one of the most important is soft signage. So why the signs are becoming soft? So the trends were coming from low-end printers like Epson-based printing machines to Kyocera heads, which are industrial printing heads. Then we saw that the fashion market was steering from natural fibers to man-made fibers, especially recycled fiber, polyester. So sublimation, which was a technology used to decorate polyester or polyester-based fibers, went from heavy paper, so high cost per printing yard or square meter, to ultralight, so dramatically reduced the cost of printing. High concentration ink again consolidated the moving of the industry towards industrial heads. 2016, thanks to the investment done by European brands, but also thanks to some mistakes made by our Asian partners, the digital printing business is back to Europe. 2017, everyone is insisting, investing, forcing printers and manufacturers to become green, to have a greener product, to have a CFP, a carbon footprint certificate that can be sold to their brands as excellence. So what's the next big thing? Today we have the widest printing platform on the planet, so from 1.6 up to 5.4 meter wide. Chemistry, all water-based chemistry, so acid, reactive, disperse, sublimation, and pigment. The application that we cover with our technologies, with our machine, are from the fashion to home, sportswear, signage, and also accessories. So we can handle from ultralight paper, 22 GSM, up to super heavy fabric like a kilo per square meter. So what about soft signage? It's of course an alternative to PVC, polyvinyl chloride, which all of us know that is no longer recyclable. It's heavy, it's more expensive. POP, POS, every time you go to a shop and you see this beautiful offer of Lavazza, for example, that's made on a POP material, on a POS, point of purchase or point of sales. Trade show graphics. When you go to a trade show and you see those beautiful curved frames, they are done with water-based on soft signage materials. Banners, well, we have the live experience of banner box, so flag backdrops, see, backlit, frontlit, wherever you go to an airport and you see this beautiful Dolce Gabbana exhibition or kind of live picture where you see really the people which looks 3D, that's a backlight. So you see the deepness of the colors through a man-made fiber. So this is the market projection. This is done by an integrator which is measuring the data coming from their end users. So it is a proven and fair number which tells that the industry is nearly doubling in the next 3-4 years. So there is a lot of space to grow for end users, for printers, for developers, for material manufacturers, for ink manufacturers, and solution providers. So what are the market trends? So why should a brand consider soft signage? Because it looks great, it looks beautiful, it looks better than what's done today with the existing technology. Can be folded, so you can fold a PVC, but when you open it again, it will have wrinkles. You cannot iron it. So polyester can be recycled, 100% recycled. Installing a polyester signage, first of all, is lighter. Then it's easier because it's more flexible. So your people on the field, which are doing it every day, their life will become easier. Your shipping cost, your transportation cost will be a fraction of what they are today. You can ship it in a DHL envelope instead of using a box. And it's completely odorless. Some people in the past with solvent, they were classifying it as the smell of money. But the smell was not that nice as people were saying. So water-based doesn't have any smell. So it can be used everywhere. You don't need a special exhaust or ventilation system. For a print provider, Why should I buy a soft signage machine? Well, because not everyone is doing it. So there is a kind of virgin market. So you have a lot of opportunities, a lot of market share is still left to you. Upscale look means something better, something that the others are not offering, something that your brand will be happy to pay for that. Lighter weights, again, for installation, that's a lot easier. And it's easier to install, no wrinkles, and it's odorless, so you don't have to leave it on the shelf for hours, sometimes days, in order to have this nasty smell coming out. So those are one of the brands that adopted and embraced soft signage with water base for obvious reasons, for green factors, for cost factors. For example, D&G, IKEA, Amazon, H&M, Walmart, Samsung, Nike, and Apple. Those are one of the few brands that adopted water-based soft signage. So the process, according to the material, can be direct or transfer. So you can print with sublimation ink directly to the fabric or via paper transfer. Via paper transfer, due to the nature of the technology, you leave all the ink on the paper and then you transfer. So the ink stays on top when it's transferred onto the fabric. That, for example, is perfect for sportswear, where you don't care a lot about the color going through the fiber. But if you print a flag, or if you print a backlight where you need the ink to be thick, to be through the fiber, that can be achieved only through direct printing. So that's an example of an Apple store, which is recommending to their stores to use supplier which have got a EFI Reggiani machine. Why? Because today this application can be done via paper transfer only. Tomorrow this application might be done via direct printing. And if you don't have a machine flexible enough to embrace both technologies, well, the next campaign might not be yours, dear customer. So if you want to consider a machine that is open to future possibilities, direct, transfer, reactive, sublimation, disperse, pigment, any kind of chemistry, they highly recommend our platforms. So again, why do I need water-based signage compared to the conventional technology? It can be easily folded. So there is a 20% off on sandwich at the gas station. This is a March campaign. Next year, same month, same campaign. So what do? I simply take out my water-based signage, I just open it, put it back. This cannot be done with PVC. Also, if it's dirty because any reason, because it's raining, because of whatever, can be washed. PVC can't be washed. It's green. This is water-based technology on recycled fabric. On top of that, we have been certified by European Community for the Green Label. Green Label means that we recover 95% of the ink, which is normally lost during purging. So there is a green factor, but also a cost factor. So all this ink normally goes down the drain, goes into a trade bottle, which at the end of the year is easily counted to be around 20 to 30,000 pounds per year. So green factor, less pollution in the environment, and lower cost per printing. Thanks to that, we've been certified by the European Community to have the lowest CFP in the printing industry. We have an electronic called Signage, which regenerates the energy used when the printing belt decelerates. This energy goes back to the electrical cabinet, saving something like 10 to 12% of the energy normally used by our competitor, for example. Imagine a poor guy on the stairs, 20 meter high, installing a signage which is half a kilo per square meter, or the same guy installing a signage which is 120 GSM, so a quarter of the way. His life is easier. So instead of using 4 people, you need 2 people. You need a smaller truck. You need to use less energy. You need to use less space. So all the cost factor and also easy to use, that have to be considered, not just by you, but by your end user. So again, it doesn't smell, it doesn't stick to anything, you can fold it and open whenever you want, and it is highly scratch resistant. This is the product lineup, so we have machine 1.8, 3.4 and 5 meter. The small machine is the Fabi V180, can go from 130 to 400 square meters an hour, from 3 to 1 pass. All of our machines are running 600 dpi printing heads. They do have the best total cost of ownership in its category, thanks also to the ink recovery system. So there are some golden rules I would like to talk about when choosing a printer. For example, the ink viscosity. So is your ink closer to, let's say, honey or water? Is more thick or is more diluted? The more your ink is diluted, the higher amount of ink you will need to decorate the fabric. So the thicker, the better. So the thicker means higher concentration. Higher concentration means less amount of ink. Less amount of ink means lower cost per meter, means higher margin. Ink recovery system. Every 2, 3, 4 hours or whatever, a printing machine needs to clean the heads. Imagine if you have a machine with 16, 32 or however, any amount of head. You have to clean all of them, you have to pressure purge in order to allow those tiny nozzles to regain their operativity. So just pressure purge, the ink normally goes down the drain, and that's something like 80 pounds per cleaning loss. So we recover more than 95% of that by recirculating the ink, which goes back to the tank, gets refiltered, redegassed. Ink laydown. So if you have a Epson-based machine or Ricoh or Konica or whatever, you run them from 4 to 16 passes basically, because the printing head has got 180 dpi and you need to jet certain amount of ink in order to cover your fabric. So 180 dpi, 360, 540, 720, up to 1440. This is not exactly quality, it's just amount of ink. So high number of dpi with low viscosity inks means higher cost per meter. When you stagger your drops, for example in the 16 pass mode or in an 8 pass mode, you overlap them. Means that your ink usage increased by a certain percentage according to your printing mode. If you have 1, 2 or 3 pass maximum, you can stagger them. So you can space them in a way that your ink usage doesn't increase by increasing the number of passes. So this takes a certain structure. So you need to have a beam, which is made by the same material as the linear guides, where the carriage is scanning. The carriage can scan by means of a pulley belt or by a linear motor. Pulley belt is a lot cheaper. Linear motor is much more expensive but much more precise. So if the 3 materials are made, so the 3 components are made by the same material, then you have a homogeneous thermal expansion because magnetic motor generates heat. So from when you switch the machine in the morning to when you run it for the night shift, the printing quality has to be homogeneous, uniform. You don't want to slow down your machine to 4, 6, 8 passes just because you are being suffered a different thermal expansion than your linear guides. So by doing this, we have been forced to use premium materials. which are more expensive and more hard to make. But this guarantees you a quality over a longer period of time. On top of that, the Kevlar belt, which is equipping our machine, doesn't need to be stretched, doesn't need to be tensioned over time. So you have the same quality today and in 10 years. A clamp. So we're talking about microns and picoliter. So every time your belt moves, you need to have a uniform printing quality and the perfect match between the last drop and the first drop of your next scan. That can be done via a magnetic clamp, which actually clamps the belt, moves together with it, and provides a closed loop to the motor in order to guarantee 8 microns of indexing precision. 8 microns is half the size of a drop. So you're 100% sure that you have no bending, no gap, or no overlapping. The print head carriage normally is made by aluminum, which is a standard material which everyone can drill, can sew, or can paint, whatever. Every time you install a printing head in an aluminum-made carriage, you need to align them. So you need a screwdriver. If you have 2 heads or more heads, you need sometimes to have a camera. You need to have your manufacturer coming at your site with a camera. So they will install a camera underneath that. They will align the printing head for you. And every time you replace a head, it's better to call that, otherwise your quality degrades. So we made a plate which is a composite of titanium, aluminum, magnesium, where you can simply install the head, close the screw. There's no need of adjustment, no need of alignment, because it's got 5 micron precision. Again, a quarter of a nozzle. So you don't need to have any camera or anyone from the manufacturer to come at your side. Flexibility. Today paper, tomorrow fabric, the day after tomorrow a different material. The machine is designed to run different material over a longer period of time. Tomorrow a new felt will come out, you don't have to change your machine, just change your material. There is a company I sold 14 machines to in the United States. It is called Colorado Timberline. They are running an average of 1 or 2 pass according to the design they get from the end user. The end user can be myself sending a picture of my favorite team, which lost against Borussia Dortmund, so I'm not doing it. So Formula 1, okay, let's change topic. The picture of my daughter, which is 14 months old, I want it to be printed on a duvet cover. Where do I go? I go to Amazon, I just send my picture, choose the size, choose the orientation, adjust the color. This image goes over the cloud into a web server which is sitting at my customer site. This web server is sending the image to the nearest and less occupied machine. This is then transferred to a duvet cover and gets delivered to my house within 24 hours by Amazon Prime. This customer paid his machine in 15 days. Every time he sees a carriage scanning, he gains $20. So this is really a game changer. This is what people is asking for. And due to the fact that they are unique, they are willing to pay more. So there is a huge opportunities into this market. Ink overview. So ink is actually a liquid, high viscosity or low viscosity according to your characteristic, your print head characteristic or your machine characteristics. All the inks that we manufacture, that we use, are all water-based. We have reactive, which is the ink commonly used for natural fibers. We have more than 400 global installation. It goes on cotton, viscose, linen, silk, also on recycled cellulose like modal. The application mainly is for home, for fashion, for accessories. We have SDs, nearly more than 80 installation at worldwide level. You can decorate silk scarves, you can decorate swimwear, silk for accessories as well, ties, scarves, but also certain flags made by polyamide nylon. Sublimation is the most versatile ink because you can print for fashion, for home, for advertisement, for soft signage as well. We have more than 300 global installation at worldwide level. Direct disperse, similar to sublimation with a difference. It can be just printed directly, not paper transfer. You have a higher light fastness, you have different end user capabilities. This goes mainly on fashion, automotive, where the light fastness, a higher light fastness is required compared to sublimation, home furnishing, decorative fabric, apparel, and polyester swimwear. Pigment virtually goes on everything. So is fabric agnostic. So you need to have a binder that will allow this ink to bind towards your final fabric. The good thing of pigment is that it's got a lot superior outdoor light fastness and also goes on every fabric. Goes on blends, goes on 100% natural, 100% synthetic, and is the choice for outdoor. Thank you. Let me pass the ball to our friend. Thank you.
So hello everybody, my name is Joel Willcock. I've been working with CMYUK for around 5 years now. And over the last 5 years, I've been working really closely with our textile partners. As Robin mentioned earlier, CMYUK first started with Berger. We struck a partnership with Berger, who are a German-based textile manufacturer. And the reason why was because Robin and John, that own CMYUK, could see that there was a massive market, a big growth market. Big growth market for that. So that led us to join with Berger and distribute the textiles, and we've learned a lot about how to distribute textiles because it's not as easy as some would think, and there's a lot of logistical handling involved with that too. During that growth, and over the last sort of 5-6 years, we've added a couple of ranges to the overall brand, which is UFabric and UTAC. They're our own products. So UFabric is a decor and design material. It's all about one-piece wall applications. So a lot of customers are looking to produce, wallpaper, but in one large piece with no joins, and that's where UFabric comes into the mix. And UTAC is a textile also, but it has an adhesive on the reverse that is removable and repositionable. So it's about easy apply, in a retail environment or in an exhibition or whatnot. 2017, so last year, due to the growth, we've had to strategically partner with 2 other major brands. So Lamp Textiles are a Belgian manufacturer, and they've come up with a really unique product that we've got displayed on the screens and over there on our stand. It's an adhesive textile that's designed for windows and glass and decorating window manifests like that. The reason why they came up with this product is because typically in this area you see a lot of PVC vinyl or perforated window vinyl, which although it does look good, it doesn't have any texture, it doesn't look as vibrant, the colours aren't as rich. So Squid Textile performs that. It also has a lot of solar properties and other areas that it covers too. And Pongs is probably the most, for me, probably the biggest thing that's happened to me in my sort of day-to-day job. It's very exciting to partner with a textile manufacturer based in Germany. They have some really innovative products that I'm going to show you shortly. They've got a great outlook on our market. I would say that Pongs, out of all the textile manufacturers that I've seen from our competitors, well, I'm a little bit biased, I would say that Pongs are probably the most creative at the moment. And I'm sure when you see some of the images, you will agree with me too. But one of the main reasons why we joined with Pongs in the first place was they had a few products that we were missing from our range that our customers from the retail sector and the exhibition market were screaming at. That was a black back textile, and also it was a very soft backlit textile also that could be used for sublimation. Now, I've obviously gone out and promoted their range, and I can see a few customers of mine here today and they've seen these products. Very interesting. The sales on them are fantastic already. In the last sort of 7 months that we've been selling their products, just on 2 materials for 2 sectors, sales are in excess of £1 million. So it just gives you an idea of the sort of requirement for those 2 products in that area. Okay, perfect. So I just want to talk to you about the application sectors that we're involved in, and I know that, for example, Banner Box and Kingfisher Graphics, who are here, are also customers of mine that they're involved in. So you've got soft signage, which Paolo explained very thoroughly and detailed. You've got retail graphics, decor and design, decor systems, which I'll show you some images of that too. Acoustic, wall coverings, furniture, event graphics, and flags and banners. So I won't get into too much about each of these images here. I've got a lot better pictures of these in application. But what we have here is just a few of the polyester textiles from Pongs. So you've got a product there called Silencio and one called Accutex. Both of them, they're over on our stand over there at the moment, but what they are acoustic textiles. So they were designed by Pongs to be put into retail sectors. Also, they have massive impact at exhibitions and so on and so forth. You've got Shape, which is a product that when I first looked at it, I didn't really understand what it was and what it did. It's actually here. And Mick, who went over to Pongs, he gave me back a little goodie bag. He brought it back to me and he said, take a look, see what you think. And I've put my hand in the bag and grabbed this product, and I had like splints. It just really hurt me immediately. And I was like, what is this? This is actually 50% polyester, 50% stainless steel. Very thin steel. But the whole point of that is so that you can crimp and crease the fabric into a shape of any structure, but it will hold its structure. So as you can see, it's being used in a light box system to almost look like ice, overflowing 3D. Once it's printed, it looks great. But I think that this has a real market for in like a hotel reception or a bar where it's being used in like a hanging lamp display, like almost like a chandelier. That's where I see a product like this selling really well for the decor and design market. Mambo and Illuminati are both backlit textiles. They're used there. The point of that is, like Paolo said earlier, is to show off the fabric's true white point and also the colour of the ink on that you're laying on the fabric as well. So soft signage. So this is a better picture of soft signage being used in an exhibition format. So right in the far corner, you've got almost like leaf-shaped designs. That was that Accutex product I was explaining earlier. So that Accutex product's been used and wrapped around that to bounce the sound off to help with the acoustics at a busy event. You've then got the black back textile I mentioned earlier, which is why we partnered with Pongs, which is right up there. Let me use this little light. Hang on. Let's figure this out. How do I use the light? It's here, guys. So there, as you can, the reason why a black back textile is used to hang is because when you elevate a system like that, the first thing that you see if you use sort of like a standard polyester is you see the system around straight through it. So you see all of that straight through, and then it sort of takes away the look of the image. So you use a black back textile in order to cover it in effect. You've then got stretchy textiles, a product called Elastico that Pongs offer, which is 10% stretch in one direction, 7% in the other. That can be used to wrap the cubes at the bottom. It can be wrapped around the bean bags, around the counter display. It can be used in all those different sort of applications. Here the Elastico is being used to stretch over an archway. Again, the colours, because you can print this product paper transfer, you can sublimate direct to it, and as you can see the colours are stunning. And you've got in the back corner there, you've got a light box being used with the Illuminati fabric. Again, you've got the cubes on the floor that again are being used just to show off that flexibility of the Elastico stretch textile. Again, 2 products are being used in this specific exhibition system here. So you've got a black back textile being used to cover the internals of that system, and on the outside of the column you've got a backlit textile when they've lit the interior of it to sort of show off the brand of the logo on there. In that image that you've got on the far end, you've got again typically it's normally a black back textile, but you've actually got a backlit textile here. The reason as to why is that the lighting is specifically placed to illuminate the image onto the floor. So that was in the exhibition market, but it's not just about exhibitions and retail. The home and decor market is crying out for these textiles and these types of systems. So you've got the same system here, but it's being used inside an apartment. The great thing about that, and like we've tried to explain earlier, is that the fabric is almost a skin within that system. So that specific system has LED lights behind it, but the beauty of that is that if you change the colour of that apartment or you change the look of it, all you need to do is take that skin out and replace it with another printed skin, and you would change that whole look of the room. That's backlit, here's frontlit, so there's no LED lights behind this image here, but that image there, you can see 3 of the same system, the aluminium system, being used just to bring a bit of colour. And again, in an apartment, it's being used to replicate art reproduction, stuff like that. So backlit textiles are probably one of the biggest applications that we sell textiles for. So the first image is inside a museum. Now you saw a frontlit image earlier. If you used a frontlit image in that application, you'd walk down there and you'd probably miss, or you wouldn't see, because it's quite enclosed, it's quite dark. But by using LED lights and using a backlit fabric with the right ink technology, you're showing off the colour and the depth and the richness to the full capacity. So when you walk down there, instead of just walking all the way down, you're actually going to take time to look at each one of those. That's how it's traditionally done. It's all about using LED lights. But going over to the home market, you might not want to have the wires hanging out the wall, whatnot. So what they've used there is just natural light. So it's in front of a window display, or a window, should I say. It's on runners. It's Illuminati. It's a very soft, white, brilliant white point fabric. It's knitted. It's not going to fray. Once it's in that system, it looks that great. And again, like I said earlier, you can just remove that and replace with another image or skin or whatever it is, whatever you want to do. It's your home, so you can, it's down to your imagination what it looks like. So decor systems. So decor systems is relatively new to CMYUK. So what decor systems is trying to achieve, it's a wall and ceiling system. So you would simply surround the perimeter of the ceiling with wood. You'd then nail on this system onto that wood, and then you'd stretch the fabric into it. So the benefits to that is once it's installed, it's a case again of changing that image. And in a hotel or like an airport lounge, they don't have a lot of downtime for you to change that graphic, or more importantly, reskin or replaster the wall. That just isn't an option. They would maybe give you a few hours. The only way you're going to get away with that is by using a decor system. And again, if you look in this hotel lounge, this airport lounge, it's changed the entire atmosphere. I mean, I personally think they should probably do a bit more colour in it, but that's just my opinion. But I think once you get the designers in, you can create something really special. Again, decor systems, like I said, but instead of just using the system itself, put some LED lights behind it. Again, you've changed the look. Pongs make this system, but they also make the fabrics for the system. So you could use a standard knitted fabric, but Pongs also provide coloured materials. Fabrics that are coated with antibacterial coatings, which are great for public places like schools, it's great for hospitals, it's great for restaurants. So you could create this system in a restaurant and know that the fabric is going to react to anything that goes on it, which is bacterial wise, or a virus like an MRSA virus. It kills it on contact. So that's another fabric that's available from Pongs and from CMYUK. Furniture. So we are going to be selling this furniture. This is one of the easy chair products that Pongs offer. We'll be selling it in flat pack form, very easy to build. Again, you can wrap the fabric, so you can wrap the chair with a fabric of any sort. You could use an acoustic, you could use an antibacterial fabric, a coloured or a printable fabric. Acoustics. So I mentioned earlier that acoustics were being used in the exhibition, but for a hotel, that would be great, or a cafe or a restaurant, that would be great. You could wrap the easy chair. You could wrap the teardrop systems, the leaf drop systems, which we also offer as well. And again, the chairs that you can see here. This is the shape and light fabric. So this is the one that my hands were bleeding on when I first touched it. So this fabric is, as I said, 50% stainless steel, 50% polyester. I personally think I think it looks great like that. But in my opinion, it would look great, you know, if you can imagine walking into a hotel, into the bar area, you've got the hanging lights, and you've got this material in sort of like a ball or a chandelier shape surrounding it. It's crimped to, you know, the shape that you want. It will retain that shape, and it can be printed UV. So you can print it with the Vutex that we offer. And that's me done. I've got through it, and I'm going to hand over to my commercial director, Mick, who looks after me and has made me do this. So don't give him too much love.
Thank you, Joel.
All right, mate.
Got me down to get up. So
I'm going now. I need a water.
that's the first time he's presented, so I think he did. I think he did really well. So, round of applause. So lunch is moments away. I can smell it. You're probably all ready for it. Mine's only a small bit at the end. So I've been with CMYUK 4 years, and we decided to do it a little bit different than our competitors and start with the niche products first. Things that give customers new ideas, bring innovation to the market. We do standard products like self-adhesive vinyl and banner material and poster paper, but we started, as Joel said, with textiles. Then we started providing textiles with different adhesives on them, and then it now brings us bang up to date with what you've just seen from what Joel's explained. So just to show that we're not, I suppose the best way of putting it is, we're not know-it-alls, which we like doing a little bit of research first. So that's why we're doing the event like today. We've been to the Home Textile Exhibition, which is probably an event some of you went to. I know Akil went to, that I'm going to mention in a minute, his company. We've been to visit companies that are in traditional markets like upholstery, interior design, and found out what they want to use, what they currently use, and where the designs and ideas are going. So we're not, as Robin said before, we're not suppliers of textiles for fashion or for home furnishings with the rub tests, the fire tests. We're sticking to what we know by doing this research, which is polyester textiles, but not just soft signage. That still is our main market, but as you've seen from Joel's presentation, we're trying to give our customers, and hopefully you guys that may do, talked to someone earlier on about, they do roller blinds, they might want to then move into wallpapers or acoustic textiles. So that's where we're trying to help everyone and bring the markets together. So bring the creative market together with the print market, and CMYUK being a supplier of the textiles or the hardware, so you can accomplish those things. So we've also linked with some designers. So Denny's an artist, Chloe, a digital designer. Anybody in the room who does designs that wants their image in what will be our new binder, sample book, please get in touch, because we can use your images, we can promote your name, your business as well at the same time, and as I said before, link that together with the printers. So the binder you'll see over there is what we currently do. The new decor and design binder will come shortly, so keep an eye out on social media for it. When it's ready, it will be full of products for you to expand what you do currently with your machine. So as I say, just as an example of some research we've done, we met Akio at the Home Textile show. Akio runs a business that's traditional furniture, upholstery, but they were getting times where their products were being copied or competition on price. So they decided to invest in digital technology to produce one-off designs, short runs for designers, so you can get 1 metre, 2 metres printed, which then may expand into a big market on a range of sofas, curtains, duvet covers, as Paolo explained before. So that's just an example of a customer. We couldn't currently help with materials for upholstery, but if they wanted to go into wallpapers or acoustic furniture, sign panels, tension systems, we could help them in that way. We've also connected with Rachel. I'd advise, or recommend rather, that you connect with her as well. She does lots of blogs on the digital print market, interior design market, lots of ideas, trends, what the next big thing is. So customization, textures seem to be the way things are going at the moment. We'll then use that for our benefit and maybe introduce some textiles with more textures to sort of match the creative market. So mundane polyester is probably not brilliant to put in for us, because we just do polyesters at the moment. But what she's saying is the ideas are being pushed out, the boundaries, the innovation of textiles. So acoustic, or the shape that Joel showed you, will create a match with the trends that Rachel's talking about there.